Hi again. In this second video, we are following the first week of getting to know a new horse. Last video was showing basic groundwork, leading and starting to influence the bending of the horse. This video, we're going to start to see the first attempt to lunching, then mounting the horse, as well as starting to influence the top line and reading into his character and previous education. Enjoy. Hello everybody. I'm back here with Kalsi. A few days have passed, a couple of days actually, but the weather was pretty bad, so it didn't feel like it was possible to film anything. I didn't really do anything either actually. I just led him around and looked at that he was fine with the saddle. Since the weather wasn't that pleasant, I haven't tried anything, so this is the very first time that I'm gonna sit on this boy. I believe that is quite safe. He seems to be very calm and easygoing. I know that he's been ridden before, so it's not like he's a youngster. This idea of mine is simply to show how you could possibly work with a horse that you're getting, for instance, imported for the first time. I have a cat on the other side of my line here. So we'll see if she'll be doing the work or lets me do that. Let go. Right. I find horses are way easier to train than cats anyway, that's for sure. Now what we did already before is that I just lead him a little bit beside me here, use my body language, and as before, he's a little bit hesitant, but still goes when clear what it means. And the fact that he doesn't respond very quickly also gives me quite the feeling that he probably won't be very quick to respond when you're on top of him. When I mentioned a little bit last time that when you're working from the hand, you can see the horse's head, the mouth, the eye, the ears. So you can kind of look a little bit and follow what the horse is thinking. Like my feeling now is that he finds it a little bit hard to bend to this direction. So he's kind of pushing his head towards the other side. There you go. And that's also what we established last time. His ears are pointed towards me, so he is paying attention. He's not quite sure what to think about what's happening maybe, but it's not like he's upset or doing anything stupid. And here we have the cat again. My idea is then, as you can see, maybe I have the line here hooked up both to the noseband and to the bit. I don't want it to be only on the bit, especially in the beginning when I don't really know his reactions, so that I can have a bit of support there and it's more stable basically, making sure that the bit doesn't twist or turn and it doesn't come solely on the mouth if we end up having to pull a little bit. So now I'm going to try to send him around me and use here just the stick, and the cat is still bothering us a bit. Come on, good boy, there you go. Just to make sure that he's okay going in a circle, maybe running a tiny bit with the saddle first. Normally when I know a horse, and like all my horses, I don't really bother launching them before I sit up on them. It's not normally needed at all. Icelandic horses are usually easy enough like that, even if they've stood for a while. Gosh, there's a cat's claw here. There you go. Good boy. Now he's offering to go faster, so I take the opportunity and say, come. Come. There we go. Shows already a bit of tilt and trot. Come. There we go. And then I say, ho, and go towards him. The other option is not to use the stick and only to use the end of the rope. I actually work more with that normally. I just swing the rope a little bit like that. I find it easier when you're talking about just launching. There you go. Come. Good boy, there you go. And ho. That's it. There. And then we'll just see that he goes the same to the other side a tiny bit. There we go. And the other direction, same thing. I just sent him a little bit around me. And come. And that was what we also saw last time. He was a little bit hesitant in this direction. So I need to be a little bit clear here. There we go, easy going, good boy. Sanna, sanna, sanna. Na, 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 na. And this is probably just due to the fact that he hasn't been doing this maybe at all. I actually don't know if he has really been launched much at all. And of course I don't have a launching ring. I don't have a round pen. So this is quite open. The horses are here on the other side. So he is probably just testing a little bit where the boundaries are. Just stay calm and go with it. Good boy, there you go. See, not too bad, that's it. Good boy. And sometimes I just need to figure out a little bit what is the purpose or what are we actually doing, but also if there are other options available. Like if the option would be available that he just goes off towards the other horses, he probably would take it. Why not? Good boy, there you go. And now I might try again to send him a little faster. There you go. And he pulls plenty there. So that tells me that that might happen as well when I ride him. But this side is a little bit tougher in that way. Good boy, there you go. And ho. But he seems to understand the stop and is happy to stop. So that's reassuring, I guess, in some ways as well. And I have absolutely no fear for that he will do anything stupid. He does not come across as somebody who is going to be, trying to get rid of me really or bucking or anything like that. He's a little pushy. Now he isn't a youngster. Like I said, he was trained a little bit as a youngster and then he's been out eating, being a horse, getting fat for several years. So this is also simply been a long time since he has really had to do very much. Now I'm going to put on the reins. As you see, I took them off before I started launching just because I feel there's no need to have them flopping around. They might be disturbing and even cause some hazard, accident possibility. Here we go. And you might have heard that some people would always say that you point the clip outwards like that. I find it actually safer to do this way because if the horse ends up scratching itself a little bit or whatever, I've had that happen a couple of times that then they open the clip. So I find this is a safer option. I'm going to close this gate here as well. And when I first climb up on him, it depends on how you read your horse and what your confidence level is. It might be smart to have somebody standing next to you, maybe even holding the horse, holding the reins with you or having a little hand close by anyway, just in case. I will try this anyway, like it is. If he doesn't stand still, then I might get somebody to help me out there. So first things first, I just stand next to him, make sure that he's okay with that. I'm on the left side now. Normally Icelandic horses are used to being mounted from both sides and I make a point of actually doing that. And when I go up, I take a little hold here maybe off the mane, just to a little safety, and also have a bit of a contact here on the outside rein. Wait a little bit, make sure that he's standing, sit gently down, find my stirrup, and he seems to know this, which is good. He's looking, testing if he can find a little bit of a treat, and giving them a bit of a treat while you mount when you're up on top of the horse. I find is a good idea because it really makes their patience that much better. And then he's offering to walk and I'll just allow him that since he was already very calm standing there for a moment. Quite loose reins. I'm sitting in a rather light seat, leaning a bit forward, making sure that I'm basically as easy to carry for him as possible. I would do the same definitely with a young horse, more so even. And I'm not really trying to influence him very much in the beginning. I just want to make sure that he's comfortable, that he can feel me, that I can feel him. He has a calm and easygoing walk. Now he's stopping and I'll just wait for him here a bit. If I would have been a bit quicker, I might even have used the chance to say ho to make him think that it was my idea. There you go. He responded nicely to the voice signal. There, pushing a little bit in towards the other horses, leading inside rein. Good boy, son. And I find it as always a good idea to talk to your horse. If you talk, you have to breathe. If you breathe, your body language is way easier to understand. There you go. Besides, they hear perfectly and can learn really well to respond to voice signals. There you go. Again, a little bit hesitant. And ho. So now on purpose. So he lifts his head really clearly when I touch the rein. Doesn't seem to be used to really coming round, even though his neck position and his build indicates that it is actually not hard for him at all. And like you can see, he comes down by himself just while walking. It seems though some maybe old misunderstanding there, that when you touch the reins that he lifts his head up against it. There you go, good boy. There you go. And now I'm going to do another stop. Oh. And the same thing there, lifts his head a little bit. Try it the other good direction. There we go. And as you can see, the inside rein I keep as loose as I can really. I don't want him to feel like I'm trying to hold him at all. I think it's really important to establish right away that you trust the horse. If you don't trust the horse will sense it, and the horse doesn't really trust you as a rider either. So as I said, if you're not really ready to trust the horse with a bit of a loose rein, maybe you first need to just have somebody leading you in the very beginning, as you're feeling a bit how your confidence grows. If I try to hold him right now, if you think of it from the horse's perspective, I'm kind of telling him something might be a bit scary. He's a flight animal. His reaction is to run away from things. So if he feels like he's being held, being stuck, he can't run away. That's what I was waiting for. Good boy. There you go. I always think when we get this in the beginning, this is a really good sign. The horse is starting to relax, feeling a little bit how the work is going. Not that we're doing very much here. There, he kind of was showing me that he would like to go to the other horses, but very gentle and sweet actually. Tiny little hop. And again, oh, there, same thing here. Now, maybe it's not time for it yet, but when I start to actually try to influence his head carriage, I will try to use that he lifts his head and follow him up. Oh, so I'm going to try that again. I follow him up, squeeze a tiny bit the reins, not that I'm pulling, and I keep a little bit of a contact to the legs as well to keep him thinking forward. So he's a bit confused now. He's thinking even higher up. If he goes higher up, I follow him up. So the idea is the contact to the mouth comes upwards rather than downwards. As a flight animal, he will have a tendency to actually pull against that at some point. A flight animal will always at some point pull against whatever is holding it. There, he's a little starting to sink, and then I start to release. Not perfect, but a little bit in the direction of where I want to go. And again, I want to get a little bit of a forward thinking. There we go, good boy. And as I said, this is the first time ever that I'm sitting on him. Well, actually, as I said, I saw him, sat on him for a couple of minutes then as well when he was 5. So not very first time, I guess, but still first time now for some years. And oh, there we go. Lifting, lifting. He was actually very similar then as a 5-year-old. He didn't really know how to yield to the bit or get himself formed. Just keep a little bit of contact here. Wait for him. Not quite. Just give him a little there, tiny bit. And as I said, I'm not putting any pressure on, I'm just trying to guide him that that's where the solution is. Just lower your head, rein will become free, and everything is nice. Now, before we just call it for today, I'm going to go a little bit sideways if he can. So I bend him a tiny bit here towards the right, since we're working on the right side. And I'm going to see here if I can get him to cross a little bit from my inside right leg. So he doesn't seem to respond very much to that. There, tiny bit. Not really crossing though. There, tiny bit. Good boy, but he's giving me a bit of shoulder. That's it, lovely. Good boy. That's it, yes. And then we'll go to the other side. And you can see here he kind of falls a little bit into the inside shoulders. So this might be a little bit trickier. So that's also why I'm keeping the whip here on that inside left shoulder. Oh, Again, lifts his head as soon as we touch the rein. Hasn't really gone far enough in this and does not seem to respond to my leg at all really at the moment. There, only thing he does is really lift the head. There we go, a little bit, yeah. Good boy. So this is what we did a couple of days ago, and then once again since then, that we have him yield a little bit from the ground. That has of course also helped that he responds maybe a bit more when there's a rider on top. There we go. Now if I'm using the whip here on the shoulder, it's handy to have it between the little finger and the ring finger. Now, and if he's not understanding, it just tries to go forward, I just stop and wait and do the cue again. So here again, little tickle there with my leg and the whip. Good boy, there you go. There you go, that's it. That's all I need, and then I'll just leave him alone there. That's grand. Good boy. And maybe we'll go a little faster now at the end. Then I lean a bit forward, stand a bit in the stirrups, again have rather loose reins. And he mixes a little bit the gaits there, goes close to the horses. That's fine, normal. He doesn't seem to be bothered by the puddles. That's always handy. And again, lean forward in this light seat, just to make sure that if I'm not leaning forward, I'm sitting quite straight, and he, for instance, takes a little jump forward, I might end up behind the movement, which is not something that I want. That causes misunderstanding. There again, quite loose rein, just goes very easily to the tilt, although the trot is there as well. He has no shoes on, hasn't had shoes on for, I don't know, some definitely quite a while. There you go, good boy, and oh, that's it. And stops there quite nicely. There we go. Other direction, tiny bit. Yes, only. There we go. Good boy. And the same thing here. Just gonna see kind of what he offers. Mixes a little bit the gaits, goes into the tilt. If I want him to stay in the tilt, I can just give him a little more support, and he will. I can feel that that's not really a hard thing at all for him, but I just want first to see where his natural balance is. So I'm kind of allowing him to choose a little bit in a sense, but you can see his nose goes up and he's a bit unbalanced like that. And oh, falls into the trot, which lowers a little bit the head carriage and seems a bit balanced there. So that's why I stopped him there. And let's see now before I stop if I can send him exactly a little bit down. Not bad. There you go. Good boy. He needs to think a tiny bit more forward. There. And what I don't want is just that he curls his head down and hides behind a bit. I don't want him to just do that. I want him to actually lengthen the top line and relax into the back. Otherwise I wouldn't have any contact to the hindquarters, but more about that later. Thank you so much. I'm gonna take both stirrups off now, lean forward and just jump off. Yeah, good boy.